Guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about a very special thing. We all have this fear of having conversations, right? We don't know where to start from. Or if somebody tells you that, the only thing you can, which will help you to be fluent in English is having a conversation, or you have to go and talk to people, right? That is the point where we start getting nervous and we don't know how to approach somebody, how to talk to them, how to have a conversation, or how to begin the conversation, right? So here I have come up with a very interesting concept of talking to people with the help of phrases and collocations. I'll tell you what it means, but before that, in today's session, I'm going to tell you how you can use phrases to have conversation with people. Okay, and how it's going to help you in having the conversation going, and what is the benefit of using phrases and collocations. Now, what are phrases? Phrases are basically incomplete sentences or a group or chunk of 2 or 3 words which are kind of complete, right? When we use that, the other person also understands what we are trying to say. So we don't have to worry about sentence structure, like where to put is, that, what, here, there. So where to put all these things, it's just that you have to say that and the meaning is understood. Okay, it's basically a chunk of words which are not a complete sentence, but it is complete in its meaning. So that is what phrases are. And it's very easy to speak or to talk to people with phrases. Okay, there are lots of ways we can take help of these phrases to speak English or to start to speak English fluently. Okay, it will help you in many ways. You will not get lost. You will start having a conversation in a better way and in a planned way, and you will not get shorter words also, and it will be easier for you to speak in English. So let's get started. So here in this session, I'm going to talk about 25 phrases which we can use in our everyday life or in everyday conversations. This is the quickest way to get into a conversation, guys. On that note, I'm your communications coach and a soft skill trainer by profession, and I'm here to help you out with all your communications problems and to help you out to speak English fluently and confidently. If you haven't subscribed my channel, please do subscribe my channel, share my videos, like my videos, watch my videos as many times as possible, because that is really going to help you and improve your listening skills also, and to help you out with a lot of techniques, tips, tricks, which will help you to speak English fluently or to communicate with people better every single day. Take it from me. Well, coming back to the topic, so we are going to talk about 25 everyday phrases which we can use in our day-to-day conversations. Okay, the first one is very simple, right? Now this situation, I'm talking about a situation, and then I'll tell you how you can take on the conversation. So it will be a conversational session basically, and you will be able to understand what phrases I've used to speak the whole conversation or to have the whole conversation. Okay, so the situation is probably I'm going to meet somebody or I'm going at an event and I'm meeting someone there. Okay, so how will I approach? What will I talk? How will I greet? What are questions I can ask? How I can answer those questions? So those are the things I'm going to talk about in this video. So let's get started. So I am at an event and I have met somebody and I am going to greet that person first. So how I can greet that person? I can say hi, hello, or the other way I can greet is good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, right? So these are the way how I can greet that person the first time I have met that person, right? The next thing what I can say is nice to meet you. Okay, so I express that I really liked meeting you, so I can say nice to meet you. Okay, then once I'm done with this conversation, I have greeted that person, I expressed myself like I am very happy to meet you or nice to meet you. Then what can I say? I can say, how are you? Or a more informal, this is a formal way of greeting. The informal way is what's up? Okay. Or we can, the other way around, we can also say, hi, I am Nina, and you. This is also an informal or a formal, we can use that, but basically informal is settings is this can be used. So hi, I am Nina, and you, which means that I'm telling my name to the person and I'm asking the other person's name. Okay, so this is another way. Another way we can say is, hi, my name is Nina. What is your name? Okay, so this is another way. So once we are done with meeting and greeting, the next part comes what else we can talk to that person to make the conversation going. Now, as I said, we can say nice to meet you, but when you are introducing yourself, you can say nice to meet you. And when somebody has introduced it, the other person has introduced himself to you, like for example, hi, how are you? Then the other person said, yes, I'm very well, thank you. Then I will say, pleased to meet you. When the other person has introduced himself or herself to me, then in return, I'll say, pleased to meet you. Okay, which also means that, oh wow, I got to know you, so I'm very pleased, I'm very happy about it. It is the way of expressing your happiness or your excitement of meeting that person. So you can say in return, pleased to meet you. Okay, so this is another phase which we can talk about in our conversation. Or we can also say, it's a pleasure to meet you. Okay, it's a pleasure to meet you. What next now? We can also ask the person, how do you do? How do you do means how he's doing, probably in his job, in his life. So whatever he want to express about. So he or she can say, so how do you do? The person might say, I'm doing very well, thank you. Okay, or my job is going good, or my life is great. Okay, so this is how you say, how do you do? Or another way of expressing is, what do you like to do? Which means, what is your hobby? Okay, if you're asking about somebody's what they want to do or love to do during the free time or what they do as their hobby, so you can say, what do you like to do? And then person might come up with, oh, I love playing basketball, oh, I love reading books, oh, I love cooking. Okay, so these are the things which you can ask, these are phrases which you can talk about while having a conversation. Okay, these are very helpful, guys. Just make a note of everything and get going. So another question is, how have you been? Which means like, how are you these days, or how is it going with you? You know, how are you these days? It basically means that how have you been? Okay, and then in return you can say, yeah, long time no see, or good to see you, a long time no see. Long time no see means, you know, we are meeting after a very long time. I haven't seen you since long. Okay, so which is put up like long time no see. You know, how have you been? You can come up with this. Another question you can ask is, what brings you here? You know, if you're in an event or a party or at an office or anywhere for that matter, at a public place or a shopping complex or a restaurant or a hotel, you can always ask that person is, what brings you here? Okay, that is also a very great way of having a conversation going. Now the person can reply, oh, I wanted to have a family dinner, so I am at this restaurant. Or I wanted to apply for a job here, that is why I'm here for the interview. I applied for a job here and that is why I'm here for the interview. So these are the replies the person can give. Okay, so these questions you can ask. You can also ask, is this your first time here? You are at an event or a book show or a food festival. You can always ask, is this the first time you're here? Which means, is this the only time you're coming here, or you have been coming here since long? Okay, or you have come multiple times here, or is this the first time you are coming here? So this questions means that you're asking about how long have you been visiting this place. Okay, the very simple question is, where are you from? Okay, you can always ask the other person, where are you from? Or what do you do? What do you do means, what do you do for a living? Like, what is your job like? What is your, basically what do you do for a living, right? How do you make money? Like, you have a business, you have your job, etc. Okay, so you can ask these questions. These are phrases basically. Then when you're meeting somebody after a long time and you know somebody, you can always say, oh, nice to finally meet you. Or it's great to see after a long time. Right? If you're seeing somebody, you know that person, and after a long time you're seeing that person, you're not in touch with them, then you can always say, or if you have been talking over phone and you haven't seen that person ever, and you meet that person in person, then of course you can say, nice to finally meet you, or it's pleasure to see you. Just that. Another thing, if you want to have the conversation going, is, how is life treating you? Okay, so this is also something which you can always ask other person. How is life treating you? If you want to know something about their personal life, or if you know their family members and you want to know about them, then you can just ask them this question, how is life treating you? Then the person understands that, okay, I can talk a bit about, how is my life going, how is life at my end, with my family or with my job or anything of that sort, whichever he is comfortable speaking about. Okay, so this is also a wonderful way of coming up with a phrase about how is life treating you, to keep the conversation going or to keep the other person engaged in a conversation. Now, if you met somebody and you want to be in touch with that person, if you have met somebody the first time and you want to be in touch with that person in future also, you can always talk about, what's your phone number? You can ask about, what's your phone number, and that person will give the phone number. Or you can talk about, are you on Facebook or Instagram? Or do you have Facebook or Instagram? Okay. So in this way, the person will tell you, yeah, he or she is on Instagram or Facebook, and will share the connection request with you. Okay. So this is the way of getting in touch, keeping in touch with the person in future also. So guys, these are the shortest ways of having a conversation. These questions are in-depth questions, right? These are phrases, but it has a bigger meaning. It has a bigger idea. Okay, so these are short sentences, short incomplete sentences or question sentences, but it makes a conversation going. And the other person also will be interested in answering these questions. You are greeting that person, you are asking some questions about his job or personal life or family, or his interests or hobbies, and so on and so forth, right? So these are the ways or tips or tricks which will help you to start a conversation, to go ahead with the conversation and keep the conversation going and engage the other person in a conversation. I'm sure guys, this is really going to help you a lot. Just go through this video 2 to 3 times to get a hang of things and start preparing your own questions of how you can approach people. I have given different methods, right? Different questions of what you can ask, or what are the phrases which you can use to ask a question or to get the conversation going. You need not to ask every single thing what I've spoken about. You can always come up and say, hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. Or pleased to meet you. What do you do? What brings you here? Is this the first time you're coming here? How are things at your end? Okay, so you can pick up some and you can just make sure that, when you meet somebody, what questions you can ask, what phrases you can ask, use to get the conversation going. And you will not blank out. That is more important. Okay, guys, I'm sure this is going to help you a lot. Keep practicing this. This session is just for practice. Keep practicing this and start using it. Start experimenting with it. Go catch somebody and start using these phrases to start a conversation. There's no harm in using these or doing this. Go ahead, grab somebody, start having a conversation and let me know in the comment section how was your experience. Until next session, see you. Bye-bye.